So here I am in the Solace Garden again, and I'm sitting by the moon pond. It's Tuesday morning, the 7th of April, and this evening and through the night into the morning of the 8th, it'll be the full spring moon. And it marks a singular anniversary for me. And as it happens in countries of the Far East which have a fixed calendar rather than a solar lunar calendar, so a country like Japan, the 8th of April is designated as Buddha's birthday and is marked with festivals, including flower festivals. So I'm not wearing my gardening clothes today because I've just been finishing my Tai Chi practice at the other end of the garden on the terrace. So I'm wearing now what I would normally wear doing my practice, and over the years the clothing has become part of the tradition. But I've paid the same attention to the frame of the moon pond as I did to the meditation seat. In fact, the moon pond is made and was created by myself and Zenek, who helped me make the garden, from offcuts of the meditation seat. So it's all part of the same part of the wood, piece of the wood. So it's been sanded and oiled with the deck oil. And at just this time of the year, it's beginning to shoot green grasses. In fact, I had to pail some water out from the moon pond in order to apply the oil so that it didn't get into the surface and spoil the life for the fish and the snails and various other living organisms in the moon pond. And I'll incorporate some photos of the pond in the little film when it's made up. And I'll talk a little bit about moon things toward the end of this piece. But first of all, I wanted to talk or bring into mind the significance of moon in things Tai Chi, Taoist, Buddhist, the things of which I'm a student. Most cultures give significance to the moon, and Tai Chi Taoism is no different in that sense. So in Tai Chi forms and in Taoist schools and Buddhist thought, the moon is given a significance of wisdom. Wisdom arising from meditation practice. It's a special kind of wisdom, not special, it's not the right word, it's a specific kind of wisdom, and much like Kung Fu is a specific kind of sincerity in the work, following the teaching. So too with the wisdom reflected in us by the moon. It's a spiritual wisdom. So there are many stories of followers in the way, upon encountering the sight of moonlight reflected, awakening to a certain realization. Generally the word is enlightenment. So all the moonlight that we see is reflected light, and it can be in a dewdrop or in a muddy puddle, or in a small body of water like my moon pond, or in an immense body of water like the ocean. And in each of these, from the very smallest to the very largest, we can see the moon entirely. And that's the reflected light of a greater light. And perhaps we could say that our inner light is also a reflected light of a greater light, from whence cometh. So moonlight and its reflection in water is used as a meditation itself. And in China in particular, the spiritual wisdom of moonlight is given an embodiment in the bodhisattva, or they might say deity, of Kuan Yin. And in China, she's given female form. Though if you look in other parts of the Buddhist world, the bodhisattva of compassion, which is the spiritual wisdom in action, is designated in male form. So in Nepal, Tibet, northern India, Avalokitesvara is generally speaking male. And perhaps that tells us something, which is that in the deeper parts of meditation, there is no gender. Just the light of wisdom arising in the mind. So in Chinese gardens, the moon takes on quite often a significance in the way the garden is made. And in particular, walled gardens, where a moon gate is opened within the wall, a beautiful circular opening, giving a perspective to a realm beyond or another part of the garden. And these moon openings appear also within the buildings, from one room to another sometimes, and in the construction of bridges with a very steep going over a body of water, again to watch the moonlight or the fish being at play in the water. And the Chinese in particular took moon viewing very seriously. So above the towns, in vantages of elevation, they would make moon viewing platforms. And these could be something quite simple, literally a platform or a promontory. And sometimes they become more elaborate pavilions. And we can imagine seeing them in the silk paintings of China of a bygone era. So I made my moon pond in that spirit. It's a place to reflect upon my own practice and to see reflected in it the light of the moon. and the wisdom of the moon in action, which is compassion, much needed by us in these uneasy days. So let us hope that a wisdom of compassion arises in us and in our being and in our doing. And lastly, to explain a little bit about moons in the Tai Chi forms. Very often we make round shapes with our form, in our hands, with our arms, in our bodies and minds. Roundnesses, opening, coming together, and closing, and moving away. So I thought I'd just show you one small part of moon in Tai Chi. I'll have to stand up for it. So, here is the moon. In my body, in my mind, in my action of compassion, in my meditation. And here is the moon being raised into its orbit.